And stopping by the carne asada today, Joseph Kelly Jr., aka Mariachi Joe, aka Joe Kelly, the legend. Thanks for stopping by, man. First and foremost, you're having an IL stint. You've had some bullpens apparently. How are you feeling?
Uh, Thanks for the intro, by the way. A lot of AKAs. AKA, AKA, AKA. No, damn, you see this right here, guys? What is that? It's like part of my hat. Yeah, so I'm on the IL. It was last home stand before this one. On my last pitch, I tweaked my hamstring, pulled my hamstring a little bit. So, very unfortunate. The first thing that went through my head was, damn, I don't get to face the boys. Like, I was like, it's literally coming up June. My birthday's today. Everything was going to be today. I was like, oh, I can't wait to face the boys. And then I blew out. But before that, everything was going good. Threw my first bullpen today. It went healthy, went smooth. So, shouldn't be too far out from this date today. So, but yeah, everything's going great, man.
Well, and we got you a small birthday gift.
What
It's
is it?
nothing that we can send you or gift to you. We can
Is
only
it
show it
love?
to you. It's a lot of love because
Oh,
obviously
I
we miss you in
love.
LA.
All right.
But we got you a
Goodbye.
banner.
Oh, let's go.
Yay, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Made that
Happy
graphic. I
birthday,
love it.
Joe.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And you know what's funny is a bunch
Hey,
of
are
us
you
have
going to
birthdays
sing
in June.
Las Mañanitas or what?
We
Oh, that's
can.
so funny. Alysha totally said that.
I
So
said
we have-
that. I said we have to sing Joe Las Mañanitas.
Estas son.
Go ahead, Joe. Finish it off. Finish it
I
off.
Finish
can't
it
sing my
off.
own song, bro.
Well, I mean, we were debating on getting a whole mariachi bit and then just
Right.
getting them to play Las Mañanitas for you. But our
That'd be-
budget of $0 kind of prevented us from doing that. So that's
Yeah.
why we got the banner.
That's all right. It's all about the idea, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Happy
Goodbye.
birthday.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Ironically, my birthday is tomorrow. So happy birthday to me tomorrow. I don't
Happy
get a
birthday
banner.
to you
I
tomorrow.
don't get
You
a
know
mariachi.
what? Are you a gamer?
Yeah.
Mario Strikers comes out tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
It hasn't
Okay.
debuted in like 15 years since the Nintendo Switch. So
I'm gonna
Oh.
attribute that to my birthday.
yeah. Oh,
So I've always wanted to ask you this because you've, and I don't even mean this in a disrespectful way. It just really just shows, it's a tribute to you and your longevity. You've been around the show for a while,
Yeah.
and you've played in some rivalries. You've played with Boston. You've played with St. Louis, the Dodgers, obviously. Now you're with the White Sox, who have a rivalry with the Cubs. Out of all those rivalries that you've kind of been around, and those storied rivalries, even at that, um, out of all of them, is there any? Obviously, you have your moments that we can talk about, but how does it kind of just feel to just be a part of all that stuff, and also lore? I mean, you're Mariachi Joe in Los Angeles, but also you're just regarded as a legend in Boston too, just for being that guy.
I love it. For me as a player, especially, I'm a high energy adrenaline guy. I kind of need, I love the playoffs because it people don't say it's different, but to me it's different. Obviously, it gets me going different. So always been a skater, always rode dirt bikes. I just need that adrenaline rush, and I feel like rivalries enhance that, playoffs enhance that, big game, close games enhance that. So anything for that, I'm an addict for it, I guess. So anything that has to do with the rivalry, obviously Red Sox Yankees, like you said, us and the Cubs, the Giants, Dodgers, man, those are epic, and it means different to the players too. Like the players feel it because we're ultimately fans playing a game that we love still, when we're not in the game. So players will just lie straight to the T saying it doesn't mean more, but it does mean more, especially because we know our fan bases want it. Those losses hurt and those wins are big. It counts as two. So there's nothing like a good rivalry in sports, and I've been very fortunate, very lucky to be part of the best ones in baseball. I think that when I'd say all 26 guys strap on the uniform for the Dodger Giants one. I mean, fist fights everywhere. The guys on each side don't like each other. The Yankee Red Sox one is epic. I love that one. Obviously, we had a little scuffle in one of those. So that
Just a little one. Just a little one.
enhances. I mean, the rivalry was already there. I mean, it's been going on forever. And here in the South Side, when the Cubs come here, we get more fans. Obviously, pack the house, sell out. It definitely means more. And Even though they're not playoff games, those count as playoff wins to the fan base, and that's what I enjoy that, and most guys do.
Before I throw it to my co-host Juan, there was one rivalry that ended up coming up for different reasons. I'm just curious from a fan's perspective, the Dodgers-Houston rivalry, which obviously you're embedded in now for the rest of the time. Is that different than kind of these other storied rivalries in your opinion, or does it kind of fall in the same category, if you will?
I think I want to say the intensity is the same for the player, but I think it's different for a fan. They don't have as much. They don't have the decades and decades and decades of baseball under the belt to consider it, up there with the greats. If we're counting on just past years and we're going year to year, I think the Houston Dodger one is probably. I don't think the fans will get mad. I think it's bigger than the Giants Dodgers at that moment in time. When you play them, because you don't play them all the time,
right?
And then the history goes back to everyone knows what happened. So, as me as non-baseball player, as a analyst, I would say it's not even close. But me as a recent fan base and me as a recent player, the intensity is the same. Yes.
Hey, Joe, so you grew up as a Dodger fan. How does it feel to be now a legitimate Dodger legend? Because you have not only Mariachi Joe, you have the Joe Kelly Fight Club with what happened with Correa. I mean, every time you come to LA, you drink for free, right? I mean, plus I left out the mural. You have a mural. I mean, you have a facial gesture now that people are do the Joe Kelly. How does that make you feel?
It took me time to try to put it in perspective. I think it's awesome. I was going on a rehab assignment, or it wasn't even a rehab assignment. I was traveling through the airport with Cease. We were going to meet the team in Tampa, and I was walking through the airport, and Cease is one of the best pitchers in the league. He's got a mustache, easy to recognize. And a random guy rolling through the airport said, "Hey, can I get a photo?" And I was like, "Sure." He goes, "Man, I'm a diehard Dodger fan. This is in Chicago." I mean, so they're everywhere. So I think ultimately we won a World Series, and that was the number one goal. And I think just to be, part of that, it's going to be amazing. They always celebrate those teams 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years until we all die. They all celebrate those championship teams, decades after decades. And it's memories you make with the guys on the team. And, I had a chance to talk to a lot of guys, yesterday, today, outside the clubhouse, go see how they're doing. We're playing against each other right now, but before and after the games, they're brothers. So it's something. If I was healthy, I'd want to beat the hell out of them, on the field, and then after the game, hey, let's go grab some dinner. But to be part of something special like a World Series, and then obviously, the mural was crazy. I always get every single few months I get someone to say, "Hey, can I get the pout face?" So it's pretty special, just to be a part of anything like that. Something that I don't take for granted, that's for sure. My son Knox loves it; he'll give it to him all the time. But no, I like you said, to circle it around, I think it's amazing, and it's something that for the rest of my life, I'll be able to be a part of.
Did you always have the reputation of being a tough guy? Because the thing I tell these guys all the time, it's like, look, do you guys remember before Joe Kelly came to the Dodgers, we all hated him for what he did to Hanley. But now, because of the fact that he stood up to Correa, it changes everything. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, hey, Joe Kelly's one of us. Joe Kelly's our guy. And I think every Dodger fan reacted because I think they wanted it from every Dodger fan to go after the Astros the way you did. Have you always been associated as a tough guy that brings it?
I'm not even gonna call it a tough guy. I don't give a shit guy. So it's one of those things I've been in trouble my whole life with. From a young player. Veterans didn't like it, but it's me, and I'm gonna play. How I was raised and how I treat life. Just because we're playing a game, I'm not going to change my attitude. It's a game, and it's something that I passionately love. They kind of teach in Major League Baseball to let's just say if you get hurt, let's give the bland answer. Let's give them a random time frame. Let's not tell them what really happened. For me, I pulled my hamstring, and I said right after my first interview, I got a grade 2. It's going to be weeks. So it is what it is. And I think being transparent, with anything in life, I wish it would be our politicians who would be the same way. I wish it would be our leaders, our teachers, anybody who has a voice. I think being transparent is what people want, and that's what they can connect with. And I think, throughout my career, I've just been transparent. It's not like I'm trying to do anything different. I'm just, like you said, it's kind of a play on words, but an average Joe, so to speak. And I play a game for a living. So it's not something I ever set out to do. It's just something that, is instilled in my brain and in the way I behave. So I'm not trying to be a tough guy. It's just, I don't give a shit guy. So.
All right. Awesome. Before I throw it over to Alysha, who was your favorite Dodger growing up as a Dodger fan? Who did you was like, that's what made me a Dodger fan?
It's going to be weird, but I loved Hideo Nomo.
All right.
Nice. I like that.
I wasn't even a pitcher. I was a shortstop.
It was the wind-up, right, Joe? It
was everything, man. It was everything.
Go ahead, Alysha.
Hey, Joe. Once again, happy birthday. Thank you for hanging out with us on your born day. Here at Bleed Lows Podcast, we are Dodgers baseball. We are all things LA, and we talk tacos. Yeah. So my question is like a 2-pronged question. 1, do you miss Dodger Stadium? And if yes, what do you miss? And secondly, being in Chicago, which has a huge Mexican Latino population, is there good, decent Mexican food in Chi-Town?
So the first question is yes, of course. I think every former player and anyone who's had a chance to put on the Dodger uniform knows how special it is to play in Dodger Stadium. It averages the most fans in baseball year in and year out. And not only is it just having people show up, it's passionate. It means it's expensive to go to a dang baseball game, and people that go there might only go once a year. And so I don't ever take that for granted, knowing that, these people showed up to watch their favorite baseball players, favorite baseball team, from when they were a young child to an adult. And that's something that I do realize day in and day out. And the second part, yes, there is a ton. I've recently had a place. So when I was in LA, I would get off, let's just say, where was I coming from? I come from the 210. I get down to the 2 maybe. I forgot what through is. So right when I got off at the, the exit where it's below the stadium, it's more going towards north. There's a bunch of street vendors right there, right by
is it Atwater Village? Is that
right off the freeway where it was right by where
is it along the
government building? It's called
Is it Riverside Drive?
Yeah, it's that street. There's always those street vendors right there.
Yeah,
you could get like 60 tacos. You get like 60 tacos that has a sign. I went there, 4 times a week. That's where I ate. I didn't eat at the field.
Yes.
that or In-N-Out. So I would go there, and that was my spot. With a bag of Doritos, and it was multiple times a week. So that was my favorite spot. Here in Chicago, last week I found a spot, another taco place. I forget the name. It's kind of similar. It's by one of those the government agency buildings for Latinos. So I found a spot. Totally forgot the name. I had to Yelp it. I was like, I don't want Mexican food. I wanted street. I wanted to go to a street vendor, and I found one. So it was amazing. But yeah, there is a lot of Mexicanos here, so it's great. It's definitely something I enjoy, and Mexican food is, my favorite, obviously next to In-N-Out. So
nice. And I love the little traffic report you gave right off the 2. You have both the street vendors and In-N-Out. So I like your
exactly.
style.
Yep. I'm a big unhealthy food guy, so it's good.
I mean, tacos are fresh.
Tacos are healthy. The healthiest food I eat.
There you go. They're gluten free.
They are.
Yes.
They are.
And before we set you loose, since I know you got to run, I've one thing that we've heard all the monikers, right? Joe fucking Kelly, Joe Kelly, Mariachi Joe, all that. Out of all of those monikers, AKAs, all that stuff that you get, which is the one that you enjoy the most, that just sticks with you?
I write it on balls sometimes. I love Mariachi Joe. People ask for it all the time, and it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite to inscribe. That's for sure.
Hey, Joe, since we're going to let you go on this one, but since you are Mariachi Joe, Max Muncy, we had Max Muncy on the show. We had Edwin Rios on the show. They all told us they love the mariachi at Dodger Stadium.
It's great.
Some of the reporters, some of the fans are getting sick of the mariachi. What do you think of the mariachi? Where do you stand on that?
I love it. I mean, 95% of the fan base loves the mariachi, and it's not just from me. It's always been there. It's always been a part of LA. It's always been a part of the culture, and I think that it's not up to the reporters. I think it's up to the fans. And mariachis are a party. I mean, that's a celebration, and anytime you have a mariachi band, it takes a lot of money to hire those guys, and it's always special. It's a quinceañera, it's a wedding, it's more than just the game of baseball. It means something different, and I think that ultimately, when you see a mariachi band, something big is going on, and going to Dodger Stadium is a big deal. So I love it.
All right.
Into that. Well, Joe, thanks for stopping by the Carne Asada. Get feeling better, and hopefully.
There we go.
In honor of your birthday.
Happy birthday. And hopefully we can catch you down the road here soon. And In and Out, if you're listening, give this man a gift box, please.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you.
Thank you.